Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Dentavim. It's an oral health supplement that's been really getting a lot of attention lately.
Yeah.
And I tried it out for 60 days, and I got to say, I'm pretty impressed. In fact, our sponsor, TopSecretReviews.com, is offering a special discount for listeners of the show. You can find the link for that down in the show notes. So what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of unpack Dentavim's claims, look at the science behind how it works, and of course I'm going to share my own personal experience with it. One of the things I found so fascinating about this whole deep dive was learning about the connection between air pollution and oral health. It's something I never really thought about before.
Yeah, that's a connection a lot of people miss. Dentavim was actually developed by a group of health researchers and dental professionals who were kind of frustrated with the limitations of traditional oral health products. And they started seeing all this research that linked air pollution to declining oral health. And it really kind of made them rethink things.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense when you consider that over 90% of the world's population lives in areas where the air pollution levels are higher than what the WHO recommends. I mean, that's a lot of us breathing in stuff that's probably not good for us, including our mouths.
Exactly. And what's really unique about Dentavim is that it actually targets this thing called particulate matter, or PM, as a major contributor to oral health problems. Now, most people, when they think about PM, they think about smog or, respiratory problems. But the folks behind Dentavim, they saw it as this hidden culprit. That's affecting our mouths, too.
So what exactly is PM? Like, I've heard the term butt. I don't really know what it means for me, besides maybe, wearing a mask when it's smoggy out.
Well, think of it as these tiny little pieces of pollution, dust, dirt, exhaust, fumes, emissions from factories, all that stuff that we're basically breathing in every time we take a breath. And it's the stuff that makes up smog. And it's known to irritate our lungs.
Okay, so you're saying that all that stuff affects our mouths too. How does that even work?
Well, there was this study in 2024 that was published in the journal Biomedicines. They looked at over 40,000 people. And they found a direct link between high exposure to PM and an increased risk of gum disease, bad breath, and even tooth loss. And the thing is, these tiny particles, a lot of times they're carrying heavy metals. And those can get into the soft tissues in our mouths, and that causes inflammation and messes with the balance of minerals that our teeth need.
That's kind of scary. So all this time we're focusing on brushing, flossing mouthwash. But what we're breathing could be undoing all that good work.
That's exactly why the people who created Dentavim spent years doing research. They combined ancient herbal remedies with modern detox science to create a formula that basically detoxifies your mouth from the inside out. They wanted to address this often overlooked aspect of oral health.
So it's like Dentavim is fighting a battle on two fronts, the usual bacteria, and then also this pollution that we're breathing in.
Exactly. And they do this by using a special blend of ingredients that are chosen specifically because they can bind to heavy metals and flush them out of your system. It's basically like a targeted detox for your mouth.
So instead of just covering up the problem, you're actually getting to the root of it.
Yeah.
And, speaking of getting to the root of it, I've got to say, after using Dentavim for 60 days, I am a believer. And speaking of believing, make sure you guys check out that special discount link from our sponsor, TopSecretReviews.com. It's in the show notes. So Dentavim uses some pretty interesting ingredients, right? You mentioned sulforaphane and chlorella before, but there are a few others as well.
Yeah, there are actually 6 key ingredients in Dentavim. Each one plays a specific role in supporting oral health and fighting those pollutants we were just talking about. We have sulforaphane chlorella, and then there's Hibiscus sabdurifa citrus flavonoids, jabuticaba, and Sephora japonica.
Those sound pretty exotic. I'm really interested to hear more about them. But before we go into detail about each ingredient, I want to tell you guys about my experience with Dentavim, kind of a week-by-week breakdown.
Yeah, definitely. I want to hear all about it. You've been teasing some amazing results.
Okay, so I get my first bottle of Dentavim, and I open it up, and this really earthy herbal smell just hits me. It's like walking into a health food store, but in a good way. The capsules are dark green.
I bet that's from the chlorella. It's got a lot of chlorophyll in it.
That makes sense. Anyway, the dosage is super simple, just 2 capsules every day, preferably with water before you eat. Super easy. Now, going into this, I had some issues with my gums. They were kind of sensitive. And I also had problems with bad breath, let's just say that. I was hoping Dentavim would help with both. And week 1 got interesting pretty quick. Within the first few days, I started getting mild headaches, and I felt a little nauseous.
Those are actually pretty common reactions, especially with the chlorella. As it starts to detoxify your system, it's basically binding to those heavy metals and flushing them out. It's like your body hitting the reset button.
Yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. But the good news is that those symptoms went away by the end of the week. And the best part, my gums usually bleed a lot when I floss. But there was way less bleeding, and my breath felt fresher too. And I hadn't changed anything else in my routine, so I was cautiously optimistic, but still waiting to see some bigger changes.
Yeah, those early signs were pretty promising. Reducing inflammation and freshening breath, those are definitely wins. So what happened in week 2?
Week 2 is when things got really interesting. The redness and swelling in my gums were, like, way less. I mean, I could actually see that my gums were looking healthier. At first, I thought maybe it was just in my head, like a placebo effect or something. But by week 3, it was like, nope, this is definitely working. Even those coffee stains that I thought were there for life, they were starting to fade.
That's pretty cool. So it's not just helping your gums, it's also working on those surface stains too. That's a really nice combination of benefits.
I know, right? It's not just about feeling better. It's like I could actually see the improvements. And then in week 4, I had my regular dental checkup. And my dentist, who's seen my gums at their worst, he noticed the difference right away. He was like, whoa, what have you been doing? Are you using any new products? So I told him about Dentavim, and he was definitely intrigued. But he was also a little skeptical. Dentists, they've seen it all.
Yeah, I can imagine. They're trained to be pretty cautious. But it's interesting that he was curious. It sounds like the improvements were pretty noticeable.
Well, they were. It definitely made me feel like I was on the right track with Dentavim. But it gets even better. By week 5, that gum bleeding I had been dealing with for years, it was completely gone. Like poof, vanished.
Wow. So Dentavim really seems to get to the root of the problem, not just masking the symptoms.
Exactly. And my breath. It was fresh all day long. No more worrying about bad breath or, avoiding close conversations. It was a total game changer for my confidence. I even found myself smiling more in pictures, not just because my teeth were whiter, but because I felt good about my smile again.
That's awesome. It's amazing how much our oral health affects our overall well-being.
Totally. When you feel good about your mouth, it affects everything.
Yeah.
And I kept using Dentavim through weeks 6, 7, and 8. And those benefits just kept getting stronger. By the end of week 8, I was like seriously blown away. All those positive reviews I'd read online, they totally made sense. This stuff really works.
Your experience is pretty amazing. It really speaks to how effective this product can be. But before we get too carried away, let's talk about the science behind Dentavim. You mentioned earlier that you were curious about some of the ingredients. Let's start with sulforaphane. It's a pretty popular ingredient these days.
Yeah, sulforaphane seems to be everywhere. What's the deal with it? What makes it so good for our mouths?
Well, sulforaphane is a really powerful antioxidant. It's found in cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, things like that. But it's actually most concentrated in broccoli sprouts, which is why Dentavim uses broccoli sprouts as their source.
So it's like getting a super dose of broccoli. But what does sulforaphane actually do in our mouths?
It's a detox superstar. It helps your body get rid of all those nasty toxins, including the heavy metals that can build up in your gums.
Wow. So it's not just about fresh breath. It's about getting rid of stuff that's actually harming our gums.
Right. There have been studies by the National Institutes of Health that show that sulforaphane activates certain enzymes, and those enzymes bind to heavy metals and help flush them out of your body, so it's preventing further damage.
That's amazing. It's like a deep cleanse for your mouth.
Pretty much.
Okay, so what about chlorella? That's the one that gave you those detox symptoms in the beginning, right?
Yeah, chlorella is a type of green algae. It's packed with nutrients, including chlorophyll, which gives it that green color. And just like sulforaphane, it's a powerful detoxifier, especially when it comes to heavy metals.
So my body was working hard to get rid of all that gunk. It was like a spring cleaning for my mouth.
Exactly. There was a study in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition that showed that chlorella can actually bind to heavy metals, and that makes it easier for your body to get rid of them.
So Dentavim is basically giving us a heavy metal detox.
You got it.
I love it. Okay, let's move on to ingredient number 3, Hibiscus sabdariffa. This one sounds so fancy.
Hibiscus sabdariffa is a species of hibiscus. It's native to tropical regions, and it's been used in traditional medicine for centuries. It has these beautiful red flowers that are often used to make a delicious tea.
Oh, hibiscus tea. I love that. But what makes it good for our mouths?
Hibiscus is full of antioxidants. They're called anthocyanins, and they're what give hibiscus its red color. Anthocyanins have really powerful anti-inflammatory properties, which is super important for healthy gums. Remember, inflammation is a major cause of gum disease. So anything that can help reduce inflammation is a good thing.
For sure. I definitely noticed less inflammation in my gums while I was using Dentavim, so hibiscus gets a thumbs up from me. Okay, what about ingredient number 4, citrus flavonoids? Are we talking about like oranges and lemons here?
Yeah. Yep. Citrus flavonoids are powerful antioxidants that are found in all kinds of citrus fruits. Oranges, grapefruits, lemons, limes.
So it's like a vitamin C boost for our mouths.
Kind of. But the main thing about citrus flavonoids is that they're really good at combating oxidative stress, which is basically an imbalance in your body. That can lead to all sorts of problems, including gum disease and tooth decay.
Interesting. So these citrus flavonoids are like little warriors fighting off the bad stuff in our mouths.
I like that analogy.
Okay, we're down to the last 2 ingredients. Next up, we have jabuticaba. I've got to be honest, I have no idea what that is.
Jabuticaba is a really cool fruit. It's native to Brazil, and it grows on this tree called the Brazilian grape tree. The fruits are this dark purplish black color, and they grow directly on the trunk and branches of the tree.
Wow, that's so strange. It sounds like something out of a Dr. Seuss book.
I know, right?
So why is this funky fruit good for our mouths?
Jabuticaba is packed with antioxidants, even more than blueberries and grapes. And those antioxidants help protect your gums from damage, and they fight off those free radicals that can lead to gum disease.
So it's like a super shield for our gums.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, we have Sophora japonica, another one I've never heard of.
Sophora japonica is also known as the Japanese pagoda tree. It's this beautiful flowering tree that's native to East Asia. It's been used in traditional Chinese medicine for a long time, and it's known for its anti-inflammatory properties.
Ah, so another weapon in the fight against gum inflammation.
That's right. Sophora japonica is especially high in this flavonoid called quercetin, and quercetin has been shown to reduce bleeding gums and promote overall gum health.
Wow. 6 powerful ingredients, all working together to keep our mouths healthy.
Yeah.
It's no wonder I saw such amazing results. And for those of you listening who are interested in trying Dentavim, don't forget to use our special discount link from our sponsor, topsecretreviews.com. You'll find the link in the show notes. It's a great way to invest in your oral health. Okay, so we talked about my experience, and we've gone over the ingredients. But let's get back to the price. We know that Dentavim is a premium product, and that usually means a premium price tag.
You're right. A single bottle of Dentavim, which lasts for 30 days, costs $69.
Now, I know that might sound like a lot compared to your regular toothpaste or mouthwash, but you have to remember that this is a product that's addressing the root causes of oral health issues. It's not just masking the symptoms. Plus, you can use our special discount link from topsecretreviews.com to get a great deal. Just check the show notes.
And when you compare that $69 a month to the cost of professional dental treatments, like cleanings, fillings, or especially teeth whitening, it doesn't seem so bad.
Exactly. A regular dental cleaning can cost anywhere from $100 to $200, and professional teeth whitening can be even more expensive, like $300 to $1,000 or more.
So suddenly, Dentavim's price tag seems a lot more reasonable, especially when you consider that it could save you money in the long run.
Right. And Dentavim offers some pretty good deals if you buy in bulk.
Yeah, they do.
They have a 3-bottle package for $177, which gives you a 90-day supply.
Right.
And their most popular option is the 6-bottle package for $234. That's a 180-day supply. So if you're serious about improving your oral health, the bulk options are definitely a better value.
And don't forget about the bonuses you get with the bulk packages. Dentavim includes 2 free ebooks.
Oh yeah, the ebooks. The first one's called One Day Kickstart Detox, and it has a bunch of recipes for detox teas. These teas are supposed to help your body get rid of toxins, which goes really well with what Dentavim is doing.
Yeah, it's a nice little bonus. It's all about supporting your overall wellness.
And the second ebook is called Renew You, and it focuses on mental well-being. It has tips and techniques for reducing stress, boosting your confidence, and just having a more positive mindset. We don't always think about it, but stress can really affect our oral health, whether it's through teeth grinding or just neglecting our oral hygiene.
It's true. Our mental and physical health are definitely connected.
And to top it all off, Dentavim offers a 90-day money-back guarantee.
That's a great perk. It shows that the company really stands behind their product.
Totally. If you're not happy with the results after 90 days, you can get a full refund. No questions asked.
It's a risk-free way to try it out.
And you can find that special discount link from our sponsor, topsecretreviews.com, in the show notes.
So what are you waiting for? Take control of your oral health and give Dentavim a try.
So we've covered a lot of ground today, from the science behind Dentavim to my personal experience. But we're not done yet.
We still have one more important thing to cover. Stick around for the final part of our deep dive. We're going to wrap things up with a look at the pros and cons of Dentavim, and we'll leave you with something to think about.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our Dentavim deep dive. Let's wrap things up by taking a look at the pros and cons. Before we make any decisions about our health, it's always good to weigh the good and the bad.
Absolutely. So let's start with the positives. I think one of the things that really makes Dentavim stand out is its comprehensive science-backed formula. We've spent this whole episode talking about those 6 key ingredients: sulforaphan, chlorella, hibiscus, sabdariffa, citrus flavonoids, jabuticaba, and Sophora japonica. And the research that supports their benefits is pretty impressive.
Yeah, and like I mentioned earlier, I definitely saw results. Within a few weeks of starting Dentavim, my gums were healthier, my breath was fresher, and my teeth were even whiter. Now, of course, everyone's different, so results will vary. But I've seen a lot of positive feedback from other people who've used Dentavim. And another big plus for me is that it's made with natural and safe ingredients. It's plant-based, non-GMO, and there are no stimulants.
Yeah, it's definitely a more gentle approach than some of those harsh chemicals you find in traditional oral care products.
And the dosage is super easy, just 2 capsules a day, no complicated routines or anything like that.
And let's not forget that 90-day money-back guarantee. That's a big deal. It gives people a chance to try Dentavim without any risk.
Yeah, you really can't beat that. If you're not happy with the results after 90 days, you get a full refund. No questions asked. It shows that the company really believes in their product.
And speaking of trying Dentavim, you can get a special discount if you use the link from our sponsor, topsecretreviews.com. You'll find that link down in the show notes.
Definitely check that out. But now let's be fair and talk about some of the potential downsides. One thing to keep in mind is that some people experience mild detox symptoms, especially during that first week. You mentioned getting headaches and feeling a little nauseous. That can happen as the chlorella starts to work and flush out toxins.
Yeah, but those symptoms usually go away pretty quickly.
Right. Another thing to consider is the price. Dentavim is a premium product, and it's $69 per bottle for a 30-day supply. It is an investment.
True. But we talked about how it could actually save you money in the long run if it helps you avoid those expensive dental procedures, like deep cleanings and professional whitening. Good point. It's all about thinking long-term and making smart choices for your health. And the last thing to mention is that Dentavim is only available online right now, so if you prefer to buy your supplements in stores, that could be a bit of an inconvenience.
So those are the main pros and cons. Overall, I'm super happy with Dentavim. It's made a huge difference in my oral health. And I feel so much more confident about my smile. The price might seem a little high at first, but with the risk-free trial and the potential to save money on dental treatments in the future, I think it's a worthwhile investment.
I agree. Dentavim offers a really interesting natural approach to oral health, and it highlights the importance of addressing the root causes of problems, like the impact of environmental pollution.
This whole deep dive has been really eye-opening.
Yeah, it has.
We've learned a lot about Dentavim and about the connection between our oral health and our overall well-being. But before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about. Just like Dentavim showed us how particulate matter can affect our mouths, what other everyday things are we exposed to that could be silently impacting our health? It's something to consider. Anyway, thanks for joining us for this Dentavim deep dive. We'll see you next time.